Hi, everybody. This is Erica from In the Company of Cards. If you're new, welcome. If you've been here before, welcome back. I said I would come back today, Saturday, and I have of just a few things I'd like to look at quickly. I hope your weekend is going well. Um, so I guess the first thing that I want to look at is what is currently going on in Rhode Island. Brown University, as you know, has had a shooting incident. Currently, there are a total of 10 people that we know of shot. We know that 8 were injured, 2 have died of their injuries. We Why the felon had to get involved, I don't know, but at any rate, he announced that the suspect had been captured. In fact, as of the recording of this video, that is not true. There's no suspect in custody. Brown, as you know, is or may not know, it's an eminent university. It's one of the Ivy League schools. Um, Really interesting way that they do their curriculum. So they don't have like a core curriculum. You can kind of go there and create your own, which I think is very, very cool for sort of self-starter types. At any rate, I would call it one of the more liberal Ivy League schools. So I was curious to see, and I may not be able to see anything, but I was curious to see what we could learn about this shooting. So, I mean, anything that the cards can tell us would be interesting. I'm going to use the scythe, and that will stand for the shooting. There's no gun in Lenormand, but there is a scythe, and that can stand for a lot of things. But in this case, it will stand for the shooting at Brown University. We really don't know anything. Suspect is still at large, so we don't know who they are. We don't know what their motivation is. But I thought it would be an interesting thing to look and see whether the cards can tell us anything. They may not. So um, you'll know what I know. Okay. So again, we're looking for the scythe. What happened in Rhode Island and why? Brown University. Okay. Sad to say, this little elf with his scythe stands for the shooting at Brown University. So I'll put that there. Two cards that precede it and the two cards that follow it. And I'm going to pull some clarifiers. Again, I am not Scotland Yard. I am not the FBI, thank God. All I am is a card reader, and this is just a sort of an exercise to see what's real. In due time, we will know whether what I'm seeing is true or not. But this is I'm just a card reader. So we have the man, we have the clover, we have the scythe, we have the book, and we have the mice. So, as 99.9% of the time, plus the shooter is going to be a male. So we know that. Um, he had opportunity because the clover feels like a card for opportunity here, which means that he had some affiliation with the campus, whatever that means, whether he was a student, faculty member, worker. These college campuses have tons and tons of people on them. They're like little cities almost. But he's somehow, I feel like, um, affiliated with the university, which provided him with opportunity. There's the scythe, which stands for the attack. Now, the book, you know, a lot of times I'll tell you that the book is about things that are hidden, things that we don't know. So I can mirror it with the clover. So he had the opportunity to hide what he was doing before he did it. But this also speaks to, sometimes a book is just a book. I think it could have been a student. Again, I'm not the FBI, I'm not Scotland Yard. Hold me to none of this. And then we have this mice card. This is somebody who wanted to create, I can mirror it with this first card, fear in people. Obviously, that's what a mass shooting is meant to do. So now we go back to this card and I pull clarifiers. We have the tree, the lily, and the snake. It's very clear that this person, as they always say, has mental health issues. That's the tree, which is health, and the snake. So this is they were disturbed. This is I mean, you have to be kind of right to do something like that. Um, but you know how they always will say, oh, it's a mental health issue, it's not a gun issue. Well, it's both. This is someone with a mental health issue that happened to have a gun. So neither of those things is good. Second card here is the clover. And the clarifiers are the fox, the sun, and the fish. So again, this feels very opportunistic. Um, I don't love I was going to say, uh, one of the meanings of the fox is someone from another country. Mm. And it's intuition that's making me say that because there are other meanings for the fox. Obviously someone who's sly and slick, etc. Sometimes not that at all. Sometimes it's someone who is um, from somewhere else. Uh, and highly emotionally wrought. The sun's a nice card, so is the fish. But remember what I always say about the sun. The sun is nice until it's not. The sun is great. It's warm until it gets hot. And when it's hot, it burns. So I think this person was full of fury. Fish is about emotion. So a highly wrought up individual feels like very much saying the same thing as the first vertical line said. Now, in the center, we have the scythe, which is the attack, of course. Clarifiers are the woman, the moon, and the garden. Not sure whether there is any sort of romantic issue here where, the moon is about reputation. Uh, the garden is, also reputations are things that we have in public among other people, right? So could he have been spurned by someone? Possibly. And then wanting to sort of make a statement that says, well, you can spurn me, but I'm a guy with a gun, and so I can still, you know, wield power. I don't know, but that's what it looks like. Um, the fourth card in our line of five is the book. Clarifiers are the bear, again, another one, the woman, and crossroads. Um, the book, again, could be a student, or it could be someone hiding a secret. I don't love the bear here. The bear here feels very sort of bully-like energy, especially together with a woman. who chose, again, who may have chosen someone, not them, because Crossroads is about choices. So, for example, somebody who's a narcissist believes that they can have whoever they want. And if the person that they're interested in makes a different choice, a narcissist can have a reaction that is way out of proportion to the situation, but not in their mind. So I think that could be it. I don't see this as political. That's what I was kind of curious about, whether there was some sort of political motivation involved. None of the cards are indicating that. It feels like much more like it was a personal thing. But again, I am not Scotland Yard. I am not the FBI. The last card in our line of five is the mice. Clarifiers are the ring, the ship, and the house. Now they're nervous. They created all this stress and anxiety and worry. Now they feel it too because of what they did. Um, the ring, sometimes a ring is a ring, a circle, right? So to me, one of the meanings of this card can feel like feeling hemmed in, um, trapped, like in a dragnet, right? If they've got, for example, which of course they do, the campus locked down. The thing about Brown is a very urban setting. So, you know, it's not in a rural place where you could maybe sneak out and, you know, be out there in the wild and nobody can catch you. It's an urban environment. So getting lost would be easy, but I do think that there is a dragnet and that they feel um, hemmed in and, of course, are hoping to escape, maybe to the place that they come from. That's the house. And I can mirror the house together with this person. So they have not yet, as of this reading, been caught. They are worried about being caught, of course, and hope to escape to wherever it is they came from. I don't think that they are necessarily a homegrown person. And it could have been because of some sort of romantic um, disappointment, we'll just say. Again, this is what I'm reading. I could be wrong, I could be right, but I thought it would be interesting for you to see how the cards try to address a question on which we have little to no information. So time will tell, we'll see. Hopefully by the time I upload this, we'll know a lot more. But okay. Um, Another thing I thought I would look at is that apparently in the last day or so, the London Metropolitan Police have announced that they have dropped their inquiry into whether Andrew Mountbatten Windsor, um, launched a smear campaign against the late, when she was alive, Virginia Giuffre. She is the accuser in that photograph with him. Uh, the Metropolitan Police has dropped the inquiry. They did not apparently inform Virginia Giuffre's family. This was just kind of something that they did on the DL, quietly. And it made me curious to look at a broader question, which is that, um, you know, we know certainly that Congress would like to talk to Andrew Mountbatten Windsor. We know that he's not going to voluntarily agree to that, so that's not a thing, and he can't be forced to do that. But what I want to know is, um, I mean, that's just one case that the London police have refused to look at or declined to look at. What I want to know is, does he face continued legal jeopardy in Great Britain? That's what I want to know. So I will use whichever man card pops up first. There are two in this deck. They're not differentiated the way mine are in my deck, where there's a young man and an older man that sort of helps me know who's who. So the way that I've arranged with Spirit um, to use the men and the women cards in this deck. This is the deck I'm using for the holidays. It's called the Mary Bell Lenormand. You can find it on Etsy. The way that the arrangement that I've made with Spirit is that um, when I ask a question about a person, in this case, a man, Andrew Mountbatten Windsor, whichever man shows up first, that will stand for him. So I want to know, does he still face any legal jeopardy in Great Britain? Or, will the royal family try to squish that? Because mud that gets on him drips over onto them. Could it be one of those cases where everything is just hushed up? Wouldn't be the first time. Okay. So the first man card that pops up, that will be him. Here he is. Yep. So I don't think he will face legal jeopardy in Great Britain. We have the coffin, we have the scythe, we have Andrew, we have the mountain, and we have the house. So everything has been put to rest legally for him. Um, you know, he did do that. He did attempt to smear her. Not for nothing, he denied it. He denied that he had been with her. So, you know, and again, his mom had to bail him out because she got a huge settlement. But anyway, at any rate, it looks like they have buried this. So here's Andrew. They have blocked any more legal proceedings against him. Who is they? The House of Windsor, whom I'm sure have an agreement with, who I'm sure have an agreement with the Metropolitan Police. And I'm sure it's all been very polite and quiet, but the royal family would just as soon that Andrew be left alone and that this thing die a death. I was going to say a natural death, but an unnatural death at the request of the House of Windsor. Okay. Well, lucky Andrew, I guess, right? Okay. And then finally, we know that the House failed to agree on either extending the health subsidies from the ACA and did not come up, they had their own plan, which was something like give everybody X amount of money, which wouldn't come near paying health costs for people. So whatever. Apparently, the felon's plan is cut everybody a check for a couple of $1,000s, and then you take your little money and uh, you use it to buy health care. I mean, is it a one-time check? Because people's premiums are going to go from, I don't know, 300 a month to 3,000 a month. So what is the check going to do? Is it every month? No, it's not every month. So the bottom line is that the Republicans have no plan. They never did have a plan. The only plan they had was to decimate um, the Affordable Care Act, Obamacare, because they hate Obama. So what I want to know, I mean, now we're going into the holidays. People have to go home to their districts, but more to the point, January 1st is when the subsidies lapse and the premiums for everybody shoot up. It's not just people on the ACA, everybody's premiums are going to go up. And when I say go up, I mean double and triple. So what I want to know is, will there be an 11th hour Christmas Hanukkah miracle early next week that will at least delay things till after the new year? So I think what I'll do, hmm, yeah, I'm going to use the letter. Will there be some sort of stopgap bill, um, so that this doesn't go into effect on January 1st and people's premiums get jacked up? Will they be able to do something between now and when they are supposed to um, adjourn for the holidays? Do I want to use the letter? Yeah, because I mean, would have to be something that they write up. Okay, let's see. Will the ACA subsidies be saved um, through January? I guess that would be a good way to do it. Will they be saved through January? So let's look for the letter. Okay, so this will stand for some kind of bill um, put forth by the House and signed by everybody before they go away for the break. We have the moon, the tower, any kind of, you know, resolution short term about the ACA, Clover, and the ship. So these are interesting, especially because I drew clarifiers on the letter. But I'm going to draw clarifiers on the ship as well. Maybe Clover. Okay. Um, you know, Congress knows that their reputation is at stake. Uh, this is the second card, government. I mean, can you all get yourselves together, please? They know that that's what people are saying. In the center, we have the letter. I can mirror the tower, which is government, with Clover. So, you know, they are hoping for some sort of what we call in literature deus ex machina moment. Deus ex machina is a Latin expression meaning God, deus, ex, out of, machina, a machine. And it means sort of some sort of last ditch serendipity, surprise, save the day, Superman, Santa Claus move. They are still hoping for that, as are we all. Because if they can't come up with it, their reputation go move away. They're, I mean, people's bills are going to go up. And if people have to choose between food and healthcare or their rent and mortgage and healthcare, they're going to choose food and rent, food, and either rent and or their mortgage. which means that people will be uninsured, which means that um, emergency rooms, of course, will be swapped. But what emergency rooms? Because emergency rooms know this. That's why they are preemptively closing all over the country. So then what happens? Uh, Robert Kennedy Jr. This feels like it could be the straw that breaks the camel's back. It could be um, the Tylenol that breaks the fever of people who still think that MAGA, MAGA, MAGA is the way to go. Um, and it could mean some short term, hopefully short term, maybe longer term, I don't know, suffering for people to wake up and see, wait, they do not have our best interests at heart. So I pulled clarifiers on, any sort of potential agreement. And I have the woman, the man, and the mountain. It feels very much like we've got Democrats and Republicans. So, that saying, or that, men are from Mars, women are from Venus. It's like that. The two parties do not see eye to eye. And currently, they are at an impasse. But this is the center line. This is currently, they are at an impasse. But the fourth card that we're given is Clover, and Clover is great. I mean, Clover's lucky, followed by the star, the birds, and the book. So I'm going to say that hope still um, reigns. I mean, they still hope that they can pull, Deus ex machina, God out of a machine, a rabbit out of a hat. That hope is there. This is Congress. They are talking, but right now, they really don't know whether it's going to work or not. I love it when the cards can give me an answer, yes or no, but sometimes the energy is still swirling around and not settled in one place. And I think that that's where we are right now. Um, we just don't know yet. I mean, it's a hard way to go into the holidays, right? Then we have our ship, and the clarifiers are the dog, the garden, and the man. Um, you know what? Normally, well, the ship is usually a good card. It means things moving along, things moving ahead. The dog is also generally a good card. It's, the people could use a friend right now. The dog is the card for the people that you trust. Uh, and there are, hard to believe, I know, good people in Congress who mean well for the health of the people, for the people, the gardens, the people. And then we have this man here. I think I can mirror the ship with the man. I think this man is the felon. Reporter asked him about this whole ACA thing, and he said to the reporter, this was his answer. I heard him. He said, "Oh, it's not going to be that bad. And you're a third-rate reporter anyway." Excuse me? That's your answer? Oh, it's not going to be that bad. Uh, this man's ship is about to have sailed. I can mirror him. This is the felon with the moon. This could be the thing that brings him down and brings down Mike Johnson as well. So, I mean, if there is a silver lining in any of this, that is it. But I recognize that that does not put money in anybody's pocket to pay these premiums that are going to go up. What would happen if we just didn't pay them? What would happen? That could be part of how this revolution plays out. You can ask for money, but you can't get blood from a stone. I don't have it, so you don't get it. What are you going to do now? It could come to that. So expect, a little more or maybe a lot more chaos around this. I don't think that they will come up with anything. I just don't. They are at an impasse. But maybe this is the impasse we need in order to move us forward and him out to sea. I don't know. We'll see. All right. A last word for the moment on Jasmine Crockett. I just want to be clear. I think she's great. I think she's terrific. I really like her. She has not accepted APAC money. I never said that she did accept APAC money. But I think we also ought to have clear vision about what we ask of our elected officials. All of them. All of them. I don't think anybody needs to get a pass, be given a pass. I think that's been part of the problem is that we're not paying attention, so we need to pay attention. And I think that we all have a right to ask questions. Saying that, I will also say one more time, I think she's terrific. Hope she wins. I did the reading last week, I think, or earlier this week, where I saw that she would have a tough time in the primary. I think that this particular issue will be one that the Israel issue will be used against her. But again, she has not taken APAC money. But nor has she said, she has said Israel has the right to exist, which they do. And so does Palestine, and she has said that as well. Maybe what I'm looking for is something that she can't deliver, won't deliver, and maybe I'm being unrealistic. I don't know. I mean, and this is just an opinion. I'm not asking anybody to agree with me. I'm definitely not trying to fight anybody over this. But I hope the takeaway from this is that no matter who our candidates are, they need to be asked the hard questions. Because I think for too long, we've just kind of gone along to get along and take the lesser of two evils, et cetera, et cetera. But, if we're going to be a government by, for the people, then we need to act like we have some skin in the game and ask the hard questions and demand answers. All right. Anyway, thank you so much for watching. I recorded a video that will go up tomorrow with a guest. So that's why I'm wearing the same sweater tomorrow that I have on today. It's because I recorded it today. But at any rate, I hope you watch that video, and I will be back on Monday because we will be back in the midst of this fray. So I hope you have a great rest of the weekend, and I will see you soon. Take care.